Good.
$1 million of protection for occurrence for liability insurance. At this point, if you're not an LRCFT member, I hope I have changed your mind. If I have, we have a membership form right there. If you want a form, let me know. I'll be happy to pass it on. Actually, I would do, yeah, take something for Gary too, please. Not Gary, Sean. Sean, yes. So I'll pass around the form if you don't want to take it. If you're a member, you don't have to take it, but if you're not, you're a member. Yeah. If you're not a member, please take a look. The dues are very reasonable because part-time faculty are paid for, much less than full-time faculty. You're a member, right? Because you voted last time, you were a member. Yeah, if you were able to vote, you got a ballot, you're a member. Yeah, she's a member. Give me the answer to member forever. She's a Union Stewart. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Can you give me one more minute? Oh, yes, I'm sorry. To finish this up. So also you have, we have Union Plus, FT Plus brochures. You get discounts as an LRCFT member. If you don't have it, just grab one. Life insurance. For life insurance, you have to mail it in. So if you're a member, but you never mailed this one in, you have to fill it up, fill out the form and send it via post office. So if you're a member, you never filled out this one, have you filled out this one? Life insurance. If you're not sure, just fill out another one. This is it. Okay. So life insurance automatically with your membership, but you have to fill this out and send it via the post office. You have one already? Hi. Please sign in. Great. And yeah, you have this one now. Yeah, pass it out. Fill it out and then mail it. Yeah, life insurance with your union membership is great. Yeah, please grab something to eat. And I think Beth is more than ready. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Beth, for your patience.
And thank you so much for coming. My name is Beth Verhaeg, and I'm the part-time representative for ARC. And I thought we could start by going, and I've been working at Los Rios for almost 28 years, so for a while. So, but I thought we'd go around and maybe say your name, and if you're a steward or a representative, please let us know, and maybe how long you've been in ARC.
I'm Chair Rose, and
You don't want to say, I understand. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Courtney Roberts, and I'm with the DSL department. I've only been here a few weeks. I was an emergency hire. That's it, very welcome. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Saibin Neal from the department, and this is my second for that area.
Hi, Jackson Sean, part-time, very long. Since they were still using a zero machine back then.
Right.
Wow.
I'm Tammy Wood, and Kinesiology Athletics, been here for 21 years.
And our past wonderful area steward and half of Beth.
Yes.
That's the other half. Yeah. Half of Beth.
My name is Shannon Wall-Werner. I'm new here, but well, as an adjunct, I used to be a student here, and I'm actually helping with the prize program in speech communication for Pacific Islander Asian American underrepresented students.
I am JR, first semester at ARC in gerontology, but I've been with SCC for a bit in psych and DSPS.
Hi, I'm Elena Ortiz. I'm with the DSL department, second semester.
My name is Renata Linsky, excuse me, and I've been with the district for the last 28
sharing the part-time reps job with Beth last semester. Thank you, Ann.
I'm Tech from Computer Information Science. I'm a college rep.
Craig Weckman. I also started out as an emergency hire. So anything can happen. And I'm also a college rep.
And so college representatives serve on the LRCFT, the Union Executive Board, and they have a vote on every issue that comes to the Executive Board. So feel free to share your concerns with them. They have a vote.
My name is Ren Duan from Math Department. I have been teaching mathematics at LRC for 6 years. Now I serve as steward for math adjunct faculty. You know, in Math Department we have about 40 to 50 adjunct faculty. We are a very big team. Thank you. Call me Ren.
I'm Julia O'Connor. I'm from the ESL department as well. I've been here for a year. I was also an emergency hire a year ago.
Welcome back.
I'm Nikolai Kalman from Diesel department. Been teaching for 10 years and last 2 years doing dual enrollment classes at Highland High School.
So people from all over the school. And I want to say part-timers are 67% of the faculty there, so we're a big group. Okay, and I'd like to begin.
Can I introduce myself? Maybe you know me, maybe you don't, just in case you don't. So I am your LRCFT president. So I work with wonderful people like Craig, Todd, and Beth. And we have another college rep, Tony Barcelos, is in math, but he is not available today. They usually have department meetings on Fridays as well. And college reps at ARC do a lot of work to support events like this. So please give them a round of applause. And Eric Stewart, of course, also helped with a lot of things. And Tammy, Rand. So thank you so much. Give them I am available by email and by phone. I am not going to say too much because I know Beth has wonderful information to share with you. And today my role is going to be a resource person in case there are questions that you have. Because if you need someone to advocate for you, to speak loudly about you, that's me. Okay, all right, thank you so much.
I was just going to introduce her as well. Second introduction.
Oh, okay.
This is our union leadership. We're so lucky to have Dean Murakami, and he wrote the vision statement. There's a copy of it over there. He's been our LRCFT president for all 4 colleges for a while. And, he truly does have a clear vision for the future, so we're lucky to have him. And Robert Peroni is our executive director, and he answers questions, the most technical questions. We kind of go to him about, the nuts and bolts of the union, and he's available too. So if you have a question, he will help you. And of course, our president, we're so lucky to have Orny Limini-Persert, and she really will fight for you, and she is a strong advocate for part-timers. And I think that's a really important thing for all of us.
And if I can add a little bit, you are free to go to Robert, but just, because I'm on campus, I understand faculty issues well, and because I work closely with Beth and with Ann and other part-time faculty members. I'm a faculty member myself, I teach, so I think I have a really clear understanding, deep understanding of what your issues are. Feel free to come to me first.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Orny does the dispute resolution on campus. So if you have a problem on campus with a student or an administrator or so forth, she's the one in particular to go to. she will fight for you, and she will, and enforce the contract. And then we have the full-time representatives. You saw Tuck and Craig, and there's another Tony and Matt, and then I'm the part-time representative, and we also, I forgot to change this, we have, I believe, 30 stewards now, but it's always expanding, and that's due to Ornitte's hard work. And those are people who will stand up for us and who will disseminate information, who will let us know what's going on in the district, and also if there's a problem in a certain area on campus, they can tell the union, so we're alerted. This is our office. It's on K Street. It is just a great place to meet. It's kind of neat, and just so you know what it looks like. And that's where Robert's office and Dean's offices are, and the executive board meets there. What does our union do? Contract negotiations. Number one is always the contract. We work on, we research, we gather information from the faculty, and then we, decide what we can do to build a better contract. Also, dispute resolution. You have someone who can tell you what your rights are. Membership outreach like this, and community outreach. We also work in the community and, carrying our banner in different marches and things around town.
How often do we ratify a new CBA?
A new contract? We're doing one in 2020. It's about every 3 years.
It
no?
is every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
Yeah, every 3 years.
So the new one is coming up. So if you have an issue, now's the time to let us know. And, I would say, talk to Ornette. And there will be a survey coming out as well. If it's something in depth, and there will be presentations, at least, I think we said 2, right?
I believe we'll have 2 negotiations forums on campus between the 16th and October, 16th of this month and 16th of October. I was asked to give 4 possible dates. I'm hoping we can have 2. So next time you see my email, please read. I know we have a lot of emails, but so we are hoping to have at least 1 forum, negotiations forum, where you can talk about your issues, your concerns. And I was asked to give 4 possible dates, and they're between the 16th of September and the 16th of October. So I'm hoping one of those dates will work for Casey, our chief negotiator.
And you can talk directly to the chief negotiator, and that's a really good way to be heard. And in community outreach, we're also working more and more to reach out to various labor unions in the area. Something that's a goal. These are your rights from your union. I took a lot of these. Well, they're from the contract, but your almanac, your part-timers almanac, is kind of the condensed areas, the most important part-timers from the contract. So I took some of the issues from there. That was very helpful. But you have more information in your almanac of what we talked about today. So your union contract is online. Some of the things you can't see this, I know, but you can just click in the various areas, the various articles, salaries, seniority, leaves without pay, dispute resolutions. You can get first-hand knowledge very easily online. It's a great thing to do, to just go take a look at the contract and get familiar with it for everybody. Some of the nuts and bolts issues, for example, office hours. And sometimes I put, this is in your part-time almanac, page 5. I might put a number up there, just so you know. You can find it easily. It's hard to keep it all in your head if you want to research it. But we did 1 office per hour per week per 0.2 FTE. And FTE is full-time equivalency, percentage of full-time, of a full-time position, up to 2 hours a week. And that's new. That was something that was negotiated in the last contract. We used to have 1 hour. Now we have 2. And we're paid $35.50 for an office hour, and we're paid at the end of the semester. It's very important. Be sure to submit your form by the deadline or you won't be paid. And last time I gave this presentation, somebody said, I didn't submit my form. You won't get paid. Yeah.
Do they count online office hours as part of this, or is this only in person?
Online. You can hold your office hours online. And I believe this is something you need to have a specific time.
Yeah, you can hold, it's also in the part-timers almanac. You can hold up to 2 online office hours per week. Now, in terms of how many office hours you get paid for, we can get paid up to 36 office hours per semester. So how you spread that out is your choice. But so it is, if you have 0.2 to 0.399, you can hold up to 18 paid office hours. And you have above that, that is up to 36 paid office hours, and you can spread it out however you want.
And an office hour is 50 minutes.
Yeah, so the office hour, each office hour is 50 minutes. It's not, your office hour is the same as your classroom instructional hour. For each classroom session, for every 50 minutes, you can give students a break, but a lot of people don't because they like to give a break at the end of class. So instructional hour and office hour are the same, 50 minutes, 50.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand the FTE and what that means. So
Oh,
if I just offered 1 class, am I supposed to have 1 office hour, or can I have 2 and I will get paid for those 2 office hours?
You can look at the page that you got in the mail. It should tell you your FTE, your
Okay.
full-time equivalency.
Okay, I'll look at that.
And you get paid per 0.2, and so.
So let's make it easy. If you have a 3-unit class, that's 0.2.
Okay.
If you have a 3-unit class, it's 0.2. If you have a 4-unit class, it's 0.267. I'm saying 4 because some ESL people are here. So, make sense?
Okay, that does, thank you.
Great, thank you. Also, we are subjected to performance review, and that's negotiated through the union contract. There are 2 kinds of reviews. Procedure A is a self-study, a workstation observation, student reviews, and a post-review conference. It's more comprehensive. Procedure B is self-study and student reviews. So until you're preferenced, you'll be observed every 3 years under Procedure A. So every 3 years. But after that, you will alternate every 3 years between B and A, which means 6 years can go by without an observation, But so you have the 2 kinds of reviews. But until your preference, you will be observed with every observation. Also, on September 13th, we're having, in this room, we're having a presentation, right, on performance reviews, and they'll tell you a lot more. And Ornette will be giving that. So that's Friday, September 13th. So I'm kind of giving an overview today, but these topics go deep. And she's got a good lineup of different presentations, so you can learn more if you go to those this semester. So what is preference? Priority order for scheduling assignments. So there are 4 levels of preference. So as I said, you have to be preferenced before you can get observed under Procedure B. The first level of preference is the highest, full-timers working overload. So full-timers who want to do an overload class, they get first choice. Or I'm not choice, but they are assigned the class first. And then second preference level, if you taught 16 out of 20 semesters, so 8 years, or however it goes. If you miss a semester, it just has to be 16 out of 20. Third preference level, 8 out of 12. That's when you can get, this is also a new negotiated thing, the parking permit. And then fourth level preference, so that's where you get observed under Schedule A until you get third level preference, really. It's all other part-time faculty who meet minimum qualifications. Okay. If you have second level preference, you must be offered an assignment of at least the FTE to which you have established a right. So the average FTE is the two highest of the previous 3 semesters. So you must be offered that if you have second level preference. So for example, if you taught .53 for at least 2 of the previous 3 semesters, you need to be offered at least .53 before anyone with less preference can be given a class. Okay? And emergency hire, it doesn't count towards preference. Yeah, we stripped that.
So we're like fifth level.
Right, yeah.
Fifth level, like awesome.
Next time. We want to see you back. Yes, question.
I don't know if we know the answer to this, but, so if we're preference and we don't get our load because full-timers took overload, doesn't matter, full-timers can just take overload, right?
So unfortunately, the way the contract works is overload is assigned in the level, according to your level. And so level 1 is full-time faculty, 1 need to sign up for an overload. And so in that case, in the first round of the course assignments, the full-timers would get an overload. But after the first round, if a full-time faculty member's class doesn't make it and is an overload class, the full-time faculty member cannot bump you. So in the first round, yes, in the first round, level 1 would be full-time faculty wanting an overload. Level 2 would be people who have taught, the 16 of the 20 past semesters. But after the first round, if someone's class doesn't make it, you have a class, a full-timer cannot bump you to make up for the overload. But a full-timer, according to the contract, because he or she has to make load, then it's possible that a full-timer can bump you to make load, but not for an overload. Make sense?
And can they, and I'm gonna add, so overload can be 1 class, 2 class, 3, doesn't matter?
An overload is really according to the contract for a full-timer, and a full-timer's overload is not supposed to go over 0.4. So 0.4 would be 1 3-unit class, and then you have 1 FTE left. Now, is it possible for someone to go over 0.4? It depends. If the VP signs off, then it is possible, but the contract says full-timers are limited to no more than 0.4 FTE of overload. Sure.
And if you don't know what your preference level is, you can just type it in online. You can just say Los Rios preference level, and there's a page that comes right up. You see your name, and you can go right across. So like, this is fall 18, you see 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, and it's all public information, which is another new thing. It's just happened recently, which is really nice.
And if you have been here for a while, double check to make sure the information is correct. Occasionally, the data can be wrong.
I just want to put in a word about unemployment as well. We are, we have the right to unemployment between semesters. And there was a court case, the Cervisi decision. It was San Francisco Community College in 1989 made this decision. And it can be affected if you have a second job. But if you're just, but it's worth looking into because we are effectively unemployed between semesters. I don't know, this has happened to me. I don't know if it's happened to anybody else, but you can prepare for a class and then the class doesn't go. And so you are, you know, and that gives, you know, you are effectively unemployed. So, you know, I just recommend, I'm paying for the college for the second child, and boy, I'm sad, you know, I wish I would have applied way back when. I didn't apply for a lot of years. So I like to put in a fund. And this is something Robert Peroni does, and this happened to me once. If you get denied and you have to appeal, you can contact us and we'll, you know, we'll try to help you, and he often, if under the situation, will go with you to the appeal. And because it's in all of our interest to make sure that if you apply, you get it. And we send out at the end of every semester an unemployment guide. And I strongly recommend following it because I do that, you know, I'll get calls. It's easy to make a mistake, it's easy to say the wrong thing, you know, and you just want to make sure you do it right, you get it in there, and you get, you know, you get your unemployment if you are applying. And there's a new online system. So we just rewrote the whole unemployment guide last semester. So it should be, it's up to date. Health, medical, and dental benefits. And I don't know, some people who've been here for a long time, maybe you were here before part-timers and medical benefits like I was. And, you know, we're so lucky. I go to conferences sometimes, especially people across the United States. So many part-timers don't have medical. So we're lucky we have what we have. But you have to have completed at least 2 of the last 5 semesters with an assignment of at least 0.3 FTE. And that first year can be hard for people, but it's just 2 of the last 5 semesters.
And then do we reach out, or how does that happen?
You just contact us through benefits, and they'll help you. For example, I'm going to tell you my story. My husband's health insurance is not the greatest, and we thought, boy, we'd be better on ours. This is just my story. I dropped his because you can't have 2 at once. I dropped his, and then I joined a new one. And you have to do. There's a window. There's a open enrollment window, and this is another thing. On November 15th and November 22nd, in these rooms, we're going to have a whole thing on health care and what else, like STIRS and things like that, on retirement and health care and your benefits.
Yeah, if you look at the event calendar, you'll see it. It's November 4th. No, I'm sorry. October 16th.
Yeah, but you do have to feel confident, pretty much, because if you lose your FTE, if you go below 3, you lose your unemployment. And I know this almost happened to me, and so I went through the whole thing. I know that. So you want to be, pretty confident that you will continue to get that 0.3 FTE. But it's good. I know the dental is good. It's Delta, And at 0.6 FTE, you get the same benefits as full-timers. And between 0.3 and 0.6, it's prorated. So like I'll pay, some hundreds of dollars a month, but it's much less than, yes.
I just want to reiterate what you
Sure.
said. If for the last few semesters I've been at 0.63 and I apply, I'm the same as full-timers. That's what you're saying.
Right? It should be, yeah.
So in terms of medical coverage, dental coverage, I believe so. But again, don't forget the window to apply for. There's a deadline. You pass the deadline, the district's almost never flexible about it.
So when are they getting this information out to us about applying? Because this is the first I've heard of any of this.
medical insurance?
About the open enrollment and about check your FTE, see if you're applicable, you know, any of it.
How long have you been here? Sorry, how long? Are you new?
I've been here 3 semesters,
Okay.
but I've been at
Yeah.
0.63.
Yeah, so the district should have communicated with you, but if you, you didn't hear from the district, the best person for you to contact would be me or Beth or the union office. Well, come to union events. Email me or come to union events. When we have events, that's when we pass out information. And also, you know, you have my information. The pink paper that I gave you, it has all the area stewards and my contact information, including my union cell number. I am not sure why you didn't get the information, because most part-timers get the information as to by when they have to apply. I believe it's by the second Friday of the semester in fall.
That sounds right, and I didn't
yeah.
write it down, but there's an open
So-
enrollment period. Yeah.
And for the office hours, it's the same. If there's a deadline, if you have not applied, unfortunately, the deadline has passed. The office hour program actually has the deadline of the first Friday of the semester, right? So if you should also have a contract. You should also be able to see the contract, and Beth, can you go quickly? You can just Google LRCFT and you'll see the contract. You can download the whole thing, the full contract, but the part-time faculty almanac that we gave you is basically all the important points for part-time faculty. Because the contract itself, let me show you how big it is.
And also the benefits page. There's the LRCFT online benefits page that's going to tell you who to contact. It has all the health plans on it and all the health information.
Yeah, so this is the full contract that you can find online. But because it's huge, it's easier to just read the part-timer's almanac. And the yellow handout that I gave you, which is titled benefits, RCFT contract brief or something like that. That one gives you a lot of main points, but not everything. Yeah, anytime you're not sure, contact me or Beth.
So I had heard that someone who works between Sierra, I work at Sierra too, and here, that there was some way to increase the FTE with the Sierra classes.
It's the next page.
Oh.
I'm going to show you. No, that's a great question. It's important that
It's also on the yellow handout. If you turn on the yellow handout, you also have it.
Right.
Beth,
And,
Bethune,
yes,
there's another hand here.
I'm sorry.
Yep, another
Oh,
question.
thank you.
Sorry, I was just gonna ask about, I guess this was back on the last page, but does the emergency hire semester count towards the 2 of the 5 semesters?
She says,
I don't think so, yeah, because when you got an emergency hire, you were not interviewed. So I don't believe it counts. I am almost positive.
and again, you must have an approved tentative class schedule with an assignment of at least 0.3 FTE in place by the enrollment deadline, and you can't have any other coverage. I just dropped my other coverage. And the shared coverage with Sierra College, you have to have, and I double checked this, I talked to Robert about this, Sierra College FTE must exceed 0.3 FTE. So if that works for you, and then if you do that, you can put your FTE together, and it both counts, and so you pay less. So that's really a good deal, and that's kind of a recent thing too. Paid leaves. So as you can see, I love this chart because we get almost the same as the full-timers, except for vacation and personal business. So we have sick leave and it accrues. And if there's, if you have a personal emergency, that counts. Birth of a child is, we just get one day. A lot of people, but that's full-timers. But we just give 1 day.
Question.
Yes.
Both sick leaves, so, sometimes I calculate, but, for example, if I have 0.6, and how many sick leave hours, whatever that I assign for?
It'll be right, your accrued sick leave is gonna be on your pay stub at the bottom, so you can just see it, take a look at the bottom of your pay stub, and you'll have these hours, and you can use those for sick leave, and then,
Just pass it on.
if you go to the STRS, retirement system,
Okay, my last one, so now we can stop and let them pass it.
Okay, I'll check.
okay, yeah.
They were never, gone, kind of gain them every semester, yeah?
Yeah, so you're gonna have a number, and it'll have hours, by the hour expire. Here's what happens, when you retire, you can put them towards your retirement. So they're accrued, right? I mean, that's what it looks
You
like.
don't lose your sick leave. Your sick leave is accumulated. So you don't use it when you retire, it's entered into the formula to calculate your pension, your monthly pension. Where can you check your sick leave, just what Beth said?
Yeah.
At the bottom of your pay statement, it will say you how many hours, and if your sick leave is prorated. So in Los Rios, I think we're one of very, very, very few community colleges that have everything, almost everything prorated from the full load. So your pay is also prorated, just so you know, which is not the same as most colleges, and Beth will tell you more about this. So your sick leave basically would be prorated just like your pay compared to full-timers' salary and sick leave. For full-timers, so every month for full-timers, you teach 15 formula units, and the sick leave is 4 hours a day. Because our day is, when the district calculates sick leave or absences, the day is based on your classroom faculty member, that is 4 hours per day, because office hours are not calculated in that. College service for full-time faculty is not calculated in that. So if you have taught 1 month, the same as what full-time faculty has done, then you get 1 day of sick leave, which is 4 hours. So on your paycheck, you will see, and this is not what LRCFT decides, this is what the district would put in there. Make sense? So you can always see how many hours you have accumulated.
Yeah.
There's a question, when you for retirement calculation, it says how many days or hours a year?
What they do is they'll ask you how many days do you have. You need to divide it if you're instructional. 4 hours is 1 day. If you don't know how to do this, come
I'm just kind
to,
of curious about.
yeah, if you don't know how to do this, come to the October 16, no, the November 22nd workshop, because the district HR person who is responsible for retirement, post-retirement, pre-retirement, planning for retirement, Social Security, and CalSTRS will be here. But basically that's the information. When you're taught up to the full load of the full-timer for 1 month, you get 1 day. And 1 day for instructional faculty is 4 hours.
And another thing, if you can't come to the one that we're giving here, STRS gives really good, I went in there over the summer, information sessions, and we give them your retirement date, and they have all your information, and then they'll calculate how much retirement you'll get, and they'll tell you things about your sick hours, they calculate those in and everything, so they'll give you personal information. And I know Ornate went to one when she first started working. I went to my first one this summer, but they're really good too, and they're on our, they are working for us.
Yeah, and there'll be a CalSTRS outreach person here giving calendar. It will say CalSTRS Fundamentals, and that will be conducted by a CalSTRS outreach person, someone who is an expert on this. So that is a very good day to come in. Last time we had this workshop for the first time in the history of ARC since I have been here, and it was packed. So please do come early, grab a seat.
Yeah, I learned a lot. This is the paper that Orly just gave you. It's personal necessity leave, and I love this. She passes it out to a lot of events, and I thought I'd put it up here because it tells you the approved examples and denied examples. So these are actual cases. So if you say, my child's school meet, these are approved. My son or daughter is getting married. They will approve it. These are, approved examples. But if you say something like, I have to take care of my boyfriend and girlfriend. These are examples of things that have been denied. So I think this is a little bit off the record, but sometimes we say the less you say, the better. Because if you go into the office and you say, oh no, my boyfriend has the flu, I do not go and take care of him, then you might not be able to use that as your personal necessity. So you can, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you just want to be careful. These are just approval examples, denial examples, and sometimes less is more. And this is our, I hope you all have seen this, or this is our salary schedule. And again, it's very easy to find online. And just notice the vocabulary. Steps are like years, equivalent to years. And class is education level. Yes?
The office hours don't have steps, it's a flat rate.
It's a flat rate.
Oh, since you asked that question, I think Beth forgot to mention the good news. So the office hours for Los Rios part-time faculty started to change last semester, and this semester also at the same rate. We got one-time funding, and so LRCFT negotiated with the district and decided to use the money for office hours for part-time faculty. So it used to be 34 something, and now it's supposed to be 42, right? Anyway, the difference is like $7 an hour. So multiply that by 18, if you have 18 paid office hours, you can buy a nice Christmas present for yourself. And if you have 36, then of course it's double. So for 1 year, it's one-time funding. After that, we don't know. Every time I email you to ask you to participate in a lobby activity at the Capitol, please join me. That's how you get the law changed. That's how you get more money for part-time faculty and for education.
Question?
Yes.
Question about the steps. You said it depends on the year. So step 1 is 1 full year, or you are
Full-time equivalency. So, like if you're teaching 0.53 or something, then you'll move slightly ahead. And your salary will change in the middle of the semester when you hit that point. Sure.
Yeah, so everything in Los Rios is prorated. That's what our union negotiated. We prorated everything that full-time faculty have per the FTE. So when you get to the point where it's full-time, then you get the same thing that full-time faculty get.
And this is the whole salary schedule, and I put the big circle around there because that's what we're all trying to do. If you plan to stay here for a while, it's really beneficial to you in a number of ways to move up that, to change your class. And I know that it took me, 10 years or something to go from up 2 classes. And you can do it in various ways. Like I have a high school credential too, but I also, you can take, there are some online classes that I can show you. Yes?
I'm so sorry, I know we talked about it a long time, I'm just gonna say one thing, because what you're talking about, this general reason, I would also say, we were joking, social media too, right? I don't know if that's checked, but I heard recently someone got in some big trouble because of social media, and it was like a public social media page. It wasn't about this, it was something else, but I actually wrote them and was like, you better take that down, and it was brought up, so that was a real thing that happened.
That's a really good point, because do you remember Capital One hack? Capital One credit card that got hacked? How did the woman get caught? She bragged on her Instagram and Twitter that she probably, she hacked Capital One. Just so you know, you have Capital One credit card, really smart folks. Almost all Capital One, I was one of them. I froze my credit card history now. But so the woman actually bragged about it, that she did something that was probably going to get her into trouble, and then they did some research. She got in jail because she bragged about her hacking experience.
Our administration also looks at these things.
Okay, so let me say this. Anything that you don't want administrators to know should not be on any social media platform.
Even if it's only for friends?
No, that's what I was saying, well, this was a public thing, but even if it's for friends, someone who's a friend might take a screenshot, then someone like me tells you to take it down, it's already out there.
Yeah.
So I would highly suggest, no, nothing you want.
That's a really, really good point. So if you say you are sick, you take personal necessity day, and then you have a posting on Facebook or Twitter that you are on the beach somewhere. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. This actually happened to someone full-time, but not exactly the same story. But she claimed she was sick, and then she was interviewed on TV. And I had to represent, she was I don't know. Anyway, and also there was a story on the Sacramento Bee. So if you want to do anything at all that you don't want to share with administrators, please, Todd.
Yes.
Turn it on.
Okay. We just covered.
And I want to tell you something new that has been negotiated as well, we already had the 20, if you have 20 part-time years and 300 hours, you get a little increase. And I know, it sounds crazy, 20 years, but it happened to me. And I thought, they're kidding me. Boy, I thought I didn't know I was getting extra money. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to give this back. But now there's a new one for 25 years. I'm not there yet, but we'll see. That's the fine print at the bottom there tells you about that. So that's a new thing just this semester. The 25-year thing came out. And this is just something near to my heart that I like to talk about. All faculty members shall be granted class placement credit for upper division class units. If you want to move up a class, there are different ways to do it. If you plan to stay at Los Rios a long time, it's a good investment in your time, and it I know that I had a real a renaissance in my teaching too. It's just good in so many ways. And there are things on campus. There are a few things that have 2 units, like the Online Education Institute. Never turn down a unit because it could make a big difference. Yeah.
To go from 4 to 5, though, you have to have a PhD.
Yes, thank you.
There's nothing to bump you above.
Nothing else you can do, but you can get up. I know that I was, for 5 years, I was 6 units away from the next class, or maybe longer than 5 years. But, sometimes it's just a matter of a couple of classes. So you can find out where you are from the, I guess, the HR, right? Human Resources?
Your class and staff,
Yeah.
it's on your paycheck.
Oh, on your paycheck. Oh, thank you.
Maybe we should have not paycheck, pay statement. Your pay statement has so much information, but a lot of people don't look at it. because once the money is in the account, we have the money to spend, we're done.
Do we get notified by the HR if we move step?
Okay, so in order to move from one class to another, you have to apply, but for steps, they unfortunately, they don't tell you happy news. So how do you know? How do you know? You look at the pay statement, you'll see the rate change. And so don't object to rate change, it
But
is
we can-
more.
We can trust them that they'll take care of the
Yeah, it's automatically programmed into the software. But if you want to track your hours, it's very simple. Your TCS, the tentative schedule, has the hours. It also tells you if you have flex obligation or not. Yeah, that thing is really good. It's very informative. So if you add all those hours up, you should know how many hours you have. And for FTE, you can just look at FTE.
And how much is each step again? I mean, what's the difference between two steps?
Can you go back?
Oh, sure.
So what this step is basically one full-time year equivalent. So for full-time load, you have to have, so if you have a 3-unit class, it would be 5 classes a semester. So if you look at your FTE, you will see if you teach 1 year subclasses 0.267, if you teach 2 classes, that's 0.5 something, you teach 2 semester, then that's like 1 semester of full load.
These numbers went up. Am I
Yes,
noticing
yes,
that?
that's what we, oh, you didn't read our email. Okay.
I'm sorry, I clearly am missing email.
So in August, Dean Murakami, our union president for the whole district, sent out an email telling you the good news. If you were here last semester, you got a retro check. Oh, I'm gonna have so much money now. So you got a retro check. And it was deposited in your account, I believe, on August 16th. If you were here last semester or last year actually the whole year, you got a retro check, and also we got an increased salary improvement of 4%, ongoing 4%. Yay!
And I put these up here because it's kind of a well-known secret, I think a little bit, because I did take a couple of these classes, and some of them are in person and most of them are online. But I saw a lot of, not a lot, but I saw some of Los Rios people there too. So I just throw it up there. If you know, depending on where you are, there are, like Fresno Pacific has these at-one courses, they count. You know, you always want to double check with human resources before you make sure the credits are applicable. But in certain cases, you may need permission from your dean. Those are usually undergraduate units. But these are graduate units for teachers. You know, I say it with a grain of salt. Always double check that these are things that people have used before.
I'm so sorry, we're
Sure.
winding. Did the ESA rates increase as well?
Yes.
You know that? Okay, thank you.
Do you love the union
Sorry,
more?
sorry.
Excuse me, do you love our union more?
I'm very excited about the union.
Okay, you union member? There's a bump here. No, really, we work hard to make sure that we do the best for part-time faculty. Talk to part-time faculty in other community college districts, and you'll find out that what I said is really not exaggerated. Salary advancement, if you want to pay less and take the lower division classes, it's possible, but you need to make sure that they have been approved. And so that, don't just listen to anyone who tells you, oh, you can take these classes and they'll count for salary advancement. For lower division classes, all the signatures have to be on the form, and they have to approve before you go ahead and earn units for that. So be careful. you can take some classes at ARC or in Los Rios colleges, but just make sure you get everything approved before you apply.
And also, Ornette will present another presentation
Yeah.
on salary advancement on November 4th from 11 to 1.
And I will touch on a lot of money topics.
Yeah. Safety, I just want to go over this a little bit, although again, we're going to have a different presentation on this. But you do have some rights concerning safety, and it is a union issue. If the student's behavior is disruptive to learning environment, you have the right to remove that student for the remainder of the class meeting and the next class meeting. And that's the California Education Code. So, but you have to notify an official, usually your dean. So you have rights to be safe in your classroom. And this is just I just put this up here to take a look at, just document. And if anything happens, promptly report it to the appropriate law enforcement. Let's see, I want to make sure, did I miss? No, okay. Tell your dean if you feel threatened. You can write your dean an email, and just with some of the information, and that way you have documented, and your dean knows something is up. And that way, if anything happens down the line, there's a record. So that's just something you can do. Management is expected to inform law enforcement, and the district shall assist the faculty member to seek necessary protections. So, and provide release time for legal proceedings. Just we hope nothing ever happens, but just know that, you do have rights. Now, I just have a few responsibilities, and most of them are things like, again, document questionable student behavior. If you have a record, then it's just much easier for Ornette to help you if anything comes to a point where you need representation. Right? And then, again, email your dean and learn the campus processes, and document the consequences in your schedule. And I should have said syllabus. I'm sorry. Put it in your syllabus. And then I put the college phone number, and I should have said 916. But the phone number of the college police is in my phone and on my syllabus. On the first day I tell the students, if anything happens, this is the campus police, because we're lucky to have a really supportive campus police. And then I have a slide, because I know Ornette wanted to say a few more things about kind of responsibilities in terms of how she can represent you. Yeah, that's yours.
Okay. Okay. So, can you go back to the last slide?
Yes.
I like to add information. Title 5, there's a section in Title 5. I emailed it to you in May. But if you didn't, if you deleted it, email me, I'll resend it to you. It's the law. Grades are faculty purview, because there we see plagiarism. So if you clearly say what the consequence is for a dishonest action, then basically you can go by your course syllabus. You say you get a 0, you get a 0. But you cannot say you'll fail the class. Okay, you cannot say if you cheat, you'll fail. You just say the whole class. So if you cheat on the test, you can get a 0 on the test. But if you have 5 tests,